We got portable analog voice. Huge batteries, huge devices. They were portable. Not mobile, really. It took them 10 years to come up with very much on Japan's request, to develop a first digital solution which, with the shrink electronics, began to fit your pocket. The battery was not very much bigger than this. 2 batteries could take you through a day of idle mode. So if you're not using your device, of course, 2 batteries like this could make your day in a good design form. At the same time, the web was invented. And around 95, I think, at least that was when we had a session in Ericsson with Netscape, brainstorming around connecting actually code machines in deserts in Vegas through mobile and the system, and came up with web, which was mobile internet, marketing-ish. It wasn't. It was something which was accessible, usable, the basic level for text strings. So you could browse text-based news, for example. GPRS, quite a success. It all began there. Had some nice stories of people trying to be very smart and launched before the standards. A German company we know very well they talk about. Web version 1 is history. With 1.1, that era began. With 3G, which came roughly 10 years later, we got simultaneous voice and data. By talking, you could check for information without losing your connection. Very big change. We also began to think, maybe also move towards higher capacities and IP to some extent, which 4G promised. It took a while to bring, but we are getting there. So with the full IP integration, platform-wise, we are adding subscribers. We have something like 4 billion unique, at least, and we look at 7 billion with 2 billion humans and 50 billion machines, or something like that to be added in the next 5-6 years, 3-4 years. Sorry. A very central point is what's in it for the user. As we have seen the last 10 years, the one who delivers, makes the user happy, cashes in. Again, if you don't believe me, look at Apple, look at Ericsson. Look at some more companies, but these share most of the revenues in the industry. If you manage to keep the user happy, that's a very big step forward. For 3G, it was very much talk, so that's 4G, finding the killer app. It was believed to be a central topic. The story was, we come up with so much capacity, come up with so much network resources, what can they be used for? And that discussion went on for 3, 4, maybe 5 years. People could not imagine what technology will bring just the next years. So the very central topic was, what can we fill our networks with? What content? The chase was on. We spent huge resources on trying to find that killer app content. Complexity has increased. Globality is there. 4G brought some wisdom. It shared the end user aspects. Work group of 4G, which said, let's begin work with the end user aspects. We did not. We didn't even get voice. So all days added 3-4 years later, because there are no better solutions. Now we begin to deliver high definition audio and such things, and they sound great. So now we begin to get some real user benefits for the first time. And again, I would repeat that it's all about optimizing the user experience. If you want to be successful, do that. We skip this one to say something. The next one is very important. We see societies reshaping everything. In Europe, we need to, for example, cut on healthcare expenditures, but we don't want to drop service quality. So what do? Make things more automatic. Prolong the subscription. You don't always have to go and see the doctor. You can do it online. If you don't have a connection, like many people don't anymore or still, you do it on mobile. So mobile service use is very central. 5G want to integrate societal service platforms into mainstream. So it doesn't have to be added, it can be used and integrated there. Fast and reliable and all these things. Lots of new usage. One thing which is not changing very much is the form factor. What we see was invented 20 years ago. That's our first smartphone, all touch with an app store, launched in 1999 or 98. The Ericsson P800, you can look it up. Basically an iPhone just 10 years before that. We still have the same, we haven't evolved very much. The next 3 slides are a transition between the story and 5G facts. I put them in as an example of what can be achieved. If you bring creative people together, in one day, 19 experts from 19 companies, including all the big ones, in the year 2000 spent the day, and came up with 3 concepts, published in 2001. What's interesting is the images. If you look at this armpad concept, we are still waiting for it 16 years later. 16 years later. And it will come probably in a couple of years. It's not getting there. But it's taken 2 decades. And that's very disappointing. For people who have various functional limitations, we used to call them handicapped, we don't anymore, it's unpolite. But this was their communicator. This pad, which had a camera which went up and down, navigate and browse around 60 years ago. Okay. And for the ladies, knowing that they that's personal, they got wearable jewelry on their body, which was nice, stylish, and non-disruptive or integrated 60 years ago. We have seen the watch launched, was it 2 years ago? Last year? Now what we expect in 5G from a device perspective, which I maybe begin with, is visual and tactile experiences without instrumenting them with wearable displays. That means, for example, projections on your skin, on your wall. The proximity, but not the way we know it, that I expect to come. I expect semantic integration, so much smarter, much more context, location, knowledgeable, and a much different interaction, projecting augmented reality. We look at all these images of the gaming solutions coming and changing. 5G technology, that's the next and last 5 minutes we plan to use. We know it's a key enabler. We know it will need to support enhanced mobile broadband. That's a great. Massive machine type communication and very much reliable, low latency communications with machine to machine and various services. The UX will remain continuous, and cloud, data, IoT services will integrate, and that will take at least 4 more years. So based on all the insight we have, knowledge, don't expect any 5G standard big rate before very late 2020. That's not my commitment or my promise. It's the 500-600 members of the we have agreed, and I show you the reason why, that late 2020 we can get a 5G radio technology standardized. So anything launching before that will have to be pre-5G, not 5G. What we look at now, feature-wise, retribute-wise, we know we need a 10 gigabit per second for 3D telepresence on mobile. We know we need around 10 terabytes a second per square kilometer. I'm not an expert in transforming that to square miles, but for stadium devices, go to a concert, you broadcast what you see for a social network. That's 50 megabit speed. We need a 5 millisecond end-to-end latency, and we look at the 40-50 megabit per second for a single video transmission. By the way, I think the slides will be shared, and I've already given them, so you will get all these slides and information. We have bandwidth and latency requirements for example, these services. We save some time, but these are things which people who live longer and get older and want a better life need. Tax money pays for much of this, and that's one of the biggest traffic drivers. Tax money, societal services, big change. I won't detail this, but it's a lot of studies made about latencies, speeds, which you can look at later on. We look at the fallback scenario as well. When things go wrong, mobile payments, for example, very central topic. But when a country's system breaks down, as Denmark, last fall, Copenhagen, people have no fallback but to line up, try to get cash, hoping that works at least. They don't. Zero chance. You can't leave the country if you can't pay your hotel bill, because nothing works. 5G, radio, big topic. There is emerging consensus, I won't touch about the rest, that we will see a new non-backward compatible radio access technology as part of 5G. And that's more us. There is a new study item which is being performed properly and run as usual. I've taken some quotes from their work, not to interfere with anyone's position, but those are some facts. A tentative timeline as the official picture of LGBT. I don't expect you to look at that in detail, you will get it. But the conclusion of this huge piece of work, again, is late 2020. We begin to get some bits and pieces, but the concept, late 2020. I've taken out some highlights of development which we can address. Things like frequencies and radio, I won't detail. It's all there. And the last slide shows what operators can begin to think about to prepare. My usually first advice is know yourself, meaning know your systems, what they can and cannot do. It's time to refresh to which degree, and know your user. Look at yourself, look at them, try to look ahead, and either influence or just follow, but prepare. The better you prepare, the easier and the better, the smoother transition will be. Because there will be transition, it's obvious. We have some new areas of technology and functionality. Again, for analysis, for preparations. You can ask yourself, what is my real wireless world? My reality? Who do I compete with? Why and when? And learn very much by participating in the work, enormously useful and interactive. We have 4 years, full speed, a lot of work, and everything is open, so everything is still there to influence and benefit. And my time is out, so I thank you very much.
Thank you. Just a quick question, I think. So 1G, 2G, 2.5, 3, 3.5, 375, 4. Is it 5G a real UG?
Yes, I think so.
Because somebody actually is proposing to call 1T as a start from. Is it really another G?
I think officially 3GPP says don't even call it 5G. That's a marketing commercial term. Let's keep it for the operators for launch. IMD 2020 will be the official ITR name. Like, was the 3G we used IMD 2000. That's the official global name to launch. And I think like 4G, 5G is a moving entity, which has different shapes. If it's 5G or 1G or whatever, I don't really care. But it's quite a big change, I think. Radio changes, the way we access and store things changes, from local to remote, from shared to, from home to share. The experience changes, and probably you can set up new networks with different fallback scenarios. So I think, yes, it's a real big G or 5G or 1T.
Okay, very good. Yeah, no more questions. Thank you very much.